Society today isn't without its challenges when it comes to women's rights. But while recent demonstrations have certainly raised awareness about women's equality in the U.S., it's also important to remember just how far we've come. Back in the 1960s, which wasn't too long ago, women weren't allowed many of the benefits we take for granted today. Here are some crazy things women couldn't do just 50 years ago. Flash their own plastic. These days, almost anyone can get a credit card, even if your credit score is less than perfect. But ask any woman trying to get a credit line back in the 1960s, and she'll likely tell a very different story.
When her needs are financial, her reaction is chemical. Chemical New York, the bank that works hardest for you.
According to Smithsonian, women applying for credit cards back then could be hit with a slew of personal questions, including whether she was married or single, as well as her plans for having children. Many banks even required women to have a man co-sign their credit card applications. Hillary Clinton remembered her own credit card rejection on Ellen.
And I got a letter back saying that I could not apply for my own credit card. I would have to use my husband's. I was making more money than he was.
Serve justice. Believe it or not, there was a time when women wanted to serve jury duty.
I need help getting out of jury duty. Sorry.
According to the Library of Congress, 50 years ago, a female juror was practically fiction. Even after the passage of the 19th Amendment, which qualified women as electors, it took some time before states passed legislature to have them included in jury selection. Until that happened in 1957, women were only called to serve on very rare occasions, typically involving female defendants. It wasn't until 1973 that women were finally allowed to serve in juries across all 50 states. Get the pill. The FDA approved birth control as a contraceptive in 1960, but according to Planned Parenthood, many states, including Connecticut, didn't actually allow doctors to prescribe it. It was then that Estelle Griswold, then executive director for Connecticut's Planned Parenthood, opened a health center that provided birth control, resulting in her immediate arrest. Her case went to the Supreme Court, and in 1965, birth control became legal for married women. But emergency contraceptives, also known as the morning after pill, experienced their fair share of setbacks as well. According to CNN, the FDA finally approved the first emergency contraceptive kit in 1998. Since then, as many as 5.8 million women have reported using the morning after pill at least once to prevent pregnancy. Rock the Ivy League. If you went to Harvard or Yale, count your blessings, because women in the 1960s weren't quite as lucky. In fact, Yale didn't become co-ed until the fall of 1969. Other institutions like Columbia University took even longer. According to Columbia's paper, The Record, the university was guys only until 1983. And while Radcliffe College at Harvard was founded in 1879 to educate women, men and women were still taught separately until most classes became co-ed in 1946.
There were several, though, who felt we were second-class citizens. All of the classes that I had were male professors.
It wasn't until 1999 that Radcliffe officially merged with Harvard. Join the military. In the 1960s, getting into a military academy was impossible, before the U.S. Military Academy at West Point first welcomed women cadets in 1976. In an interview with the U.S. Army, retired Colonel Deborah M. Lewis said, "Of the 119 women entering that day, I suspect all of us, along with the men, can say those days were life-changing."
The best qualified, regardless of gender, are now afforded the opportunity to serve.
Work while pregnant. Maternity leave in the U.S. is far from perfect. But 50 years ago, you could actually be denied a job if you were pregnant. Even worse, a company could fire you for becoming pregnant. It wasn't until the Pregnancy Discrimination Act of 1978 that those practices became illegal. Since then, companies have been forbidden by law to discriminate based on pregnancy when it comes to employment, including hiring, firing, and pay. Report sexual harassment. The workplace was far from friendly for women 50 years ago, with zero protection against sexual harassment. According to Time, the term sexual harassment was first coined in 1975 by a group of women at Cornell University when a woman named Carmita Wood filed a claim for unemployment benefits after she resigned from her job due to unwanted touching from her supervisor. By 1977, multiple courts ruled that it was legal for a woman to sue her employer on the basis of harassment. Practice law. Famous female lawyers like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sonia Sotomayor, and Sandra Day O'Connor make it easy to forget that 50 years ago, having a career in law was virtually impossible for a woman. According to a report published by Cornell University, in the 1960s, NYU reported that 90% of the law firms contacting its placement office refused even to interview women.
People ask me, when would you be satisfied with the number of women on the court? When there are 9. For most of the country's history, they were all white men.
Box in the Olympics. In the past 50 years, women have continued to shatter glass ceilings across all industries, and sports is no exception. In 2012, the Olympics made history when they officially added women's boxing to its roster of competitions. Former Olympic gold medalist Sebastian Coe, chairman of the London Organizing Committee, told the New York Times, "I am delighted that London 2012 will take its place in the Olympic tradition of advancing women in sport."
Y soy boxeadora.
Fighting for more. Despite the many challenges women still face in the world today, there's no doubt society has made significant strides toward equality in the last 50 years, but there's still plenty more strides to make. Every day, strong women continue to fight for equal pay, fair maternity leave, and the freedom to make decisions about our health. Because if there's one thing that history has taught us, it's that a determined woman can change the world.
Together, we got this. We got this.
Thanks for watching. Click the list icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out this other cool stuff we know you'll love too.